Oh,
We are now.
now we're live.
Yeah.
Oh, we're live on a Friday. Yay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I love that hat.
I love this hat too. I
Nice
wonder where I
hat.
got it. I mean, it's just kind of...
Well, I know where you got it. But I don't know where mine is. I think I lost it.
Yeah,
I have to get another one.
Love it too. It's great for a Friday. Well, it's great for an
Yes.
any day.
All right, I'm tagging everyone, and then we're going to get right into this. If you guys are here watching on recording or here live, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know you're here. You can like this so more people see it. Facebook sends it to more people if there's more engagement with it. And boop. Okay, did that. And let's get started.
We're here.
So we're going to talk about 5 ways to eat better. What the heck does that mean?
Eat better. Well, the reason we're really talking about mindful eating.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that is a way, and I'm going to give you 5 ways, or we're going to talk about 5 ways to eat more mindfully. If that is, I don't even know if that's the right verbiage, but the reason why it's better, though, is there have been quite a few studies that have shown that if you eat while you're in a rested or non-stress-free space, that you're actually going to absorb more of the nutrients from the food. So meaning that if you're eating an apple seeded, just think, and thinking about what you're doing and thinking about the apple rather than eating that apple as you are, which sometimes happens. We're all busy, and as busy nurses, you need some sustenance, however you get it at some points. But you're gonna get more of the nutrients from said apple if you're eating mindfully rather than if you are doing something else. Because our nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system, then is enacted when we are breathing slowly, when we are seated, when we are thinking about that. So our bodies are able to digest rather than be thinking about the fight and flight stuff. So
that's interesting. So it's hormone dependent. So it's like when we are in a sympathetic response, whether it be the cortisol drip that's going on that maybe inhibits our ability to digest food, or it's and I guess I'll say the opposing, when you're in that parasympathetic state, you don't have as many, I don't want to call them destructive hormones because they're not destructive. They serve a purpose. Cortisol is not bad. Cortisol gets you going, it gets you alert, but it's not something you want on all the time, right? It's like a seesaw or a yin yang,
Because
you have to
need that.
Both sides.
Yeah, you need both sides. But if we're eating, it's better for us to be in that parasympathetic state.
Okay, so number 1 is 5 ways to eat mindful. What would this way be called? Eating
the first one. Well, no.
Sympathetically.
That's the big thing. But the first one I have is ditch the distractions.
Okay.
So if you really are thinking, if you're really going to be mindfully, it's shut off the TV. It's don't be looking at your phone. Don't be driving. And again, we need to do some of these things sometimes, so that no judgment about this, but if you're really going to eat it, just be sitting and ditch all the distractions. You can be talking to someone else, one of your loved ones or a friend or something, but just turn everything else off.
That's a great one. I feel like a lot of my early 20s, I was, always trying to consume content. So that's been a great thing for me in probably the last 5 years. Since my wife and I actually got together, she was like, why are you watching that? Like, because we'd just be in the same house together. And she's like, why are you watching that while you eat? And I'm like, I don't know. It's comforting. It's what I do. But she helped me with that. So that's a good one. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I see you guys out there. If you guys agree, disagree, if you do this, let us know in the comments and like this so it shows it to more people. What's number 2?
Eat slowly and actually chew your food. So I don't know, Ryan, if you've heard of all of the things that say, you're supposed to chew your food between, 20 to 30 times for each bite of food.
Sitting there with a clicker.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that does a couple of things. One, it causes us to slow down. Yeah. Because if we're taking a bite of food and then chewing it 2 or 3 times and swallowing it, we take the next bite faster. So, right. So if you sit and if you chew your food, and you don't really have to count. It's really just to get your food to almost liquefy. So one, you're starting the digestion in your mouth already.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Slows down the amount of food that you can get in a certain amount of time, but it also helps to start the digestion process. sooner, which is what our saliva is for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of what it's for. So
Interesting. I like it. Well,
Yeah.
what's number 3?
Enlist your senses,
Hmm.
meaning think about not just like the food, but food starts, as we all know, because that's why, really good restaurants come and like this, it's a calm environment and they bring you this food and it's beautiful. So you're looking at it first and then you're smelling it and all of that. So enlist all of your senses while you're eating, so that you're not just, again, I get it. When you're a nurse, you're on shift and you have to just get something in your body. I get it. But if you're at home, try to think about more than just the taste of the food.
It's funny. I think this also pivots or, spills into this idea, which we've talked a little bit about on this, in this group as well, as far as like gratitude and all these things. Like, we can't be angry and be, excreting cortisol, which slows down our fat loss production, all that stuff. And also be grateful at the same time. Those are emotions that are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. And one of the ways that we can feel grateful is by slowing down and enlisting the senses. It's funny because I do this often when my wife cooks, is I make sure I take at least the first few bites with my eyes closed. And I know that sounds super funny, but I taste it so much more deeply, especially steak. Oh my God. We had steak last night and I was like, I can feel like, I don't even know what it is. What are these glands on the side of and the inside of my, oh my God. I'm just like fireworks. Right. And then like, I do it. And then I like take she makes this like onion, peppers, and it's pretty much just all these raw vegetables that I eat with the steak. Cause I don't want to eat in too many carbs. Right.
Yeah.
And it's great. It just allows me to get a ton of veggies in. And it's amazing. So I like have a little bit of that. And then I have like the citrus, like the kind of the spice and citrus of like the onions and the peppers and then the fat and But like when I close my eyes, it's so easy to get into the habit of not closing my eyes and just like food, gotta eat. I'm starving because I only eat about one meal a day now. I have like a couple snacks and then I get 80% of my calories in one meal. And that's what works for me. There's no perfect way to do the game. But anyway, yeah, so I enlist my senses.
Well, and I think too, it kind of reminded me of that, sometimes you see like these game shows that do it, or even like whatever science class that you had when you were in middle school or something, when they blindfolded you and then plugged your nose and then you had to guess what you were eating. And, if you don't have the other senses, it's super hard to detect what you're actually eating. So using all of them, I guess, is it is. I like your story about that, closing your eyes just to be in the moment. But to be able to smell and look and feel the texture.
Blow your nose before eating, I guess. So you can smell. Okay, what's number 4?
Number 4, pay attention to how you're feeling.
Mm.
So if you've slowed down, pay attention to this helps like with hunger cues as well, but pay attention to how the food is making you feel. Like, is that food making you, are you getting a little heartburn? Are you getting a little something? Are you getting whatever it is? Like, pay attention and you'll notice the cues faster. Because as I've talked about with my clients and we've talked on here too, our bodies are super smart. Our bodies are smart and our bodies are telling us, if we just slow down and listen to it, our bodies are telling us and giving us clues all the time. We just need to know how, 1, to decipher those clues, but 2, just to listen. Right?
Yeah, which I know can be really, really challenging to do. I remember I had a conversation with one of my clients. This is going back a few years. And she had said, the ending of the conversation was, oh my God, I have been in healthcare so long and I've just been used to doing, I'll say, treating my symptoms instead of getting to my cause. Because, unfortunately, like a lot of healthcare is pain management and like also dealing with symptoms. So, like, for example, she, not to go too far off what we're talking about, but I think it relates, is she would have trouble going to sleep. So she goes, okay, that's the problem. How do I solve the problem? Melatonin. When really there was something deeper, a cause, right? So kind of similar here. If you have heartburn, the answer is not Tums.
Although if you watch any kind of TV, because that's what I think about too when I think about those commercials, they're like, oh, if your food fights back, like use this. I'm like, just don't eat the food. Like,
right.
That's the back out a second, right?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, just listen to the signals. Like your body is telling you what it needs. If you have heart, like I'll give you a personal one that started just this past few months, I suppose. My body hates carbonation. My bladder hates carbonation. Weird. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if I'm just a sensitive little boy. I don't know what's happening. But like, I switched from having regular water to seltzer water. And I was having about 2 or 3 of those little like polar, things per day, 0 calorie. There's like nothing in it. It's just like a
Yeah.
little hint of whatever, lime or orange. But I started getting like it wasn't immediate. It was like over time, but I started getting like sensitivity. I'm like, man, are my ab workouts just really like taken to the next level? And I'm like, no, it's not that. And then like obviously you see things like you got to go to the bathroom more and all this stuff, anything related to bladder. And then I cut that out, and it went away. So it was like such an interesting thing. Like I have never experienced that with anybody. Any client of mine, or I've never recognized it, that had bladder. I mean, I can't even think of a client that's ever had a bladder issue that they didn't know the cause. But like in my case, that was like the first time I've ever experienced that. And I was like, like either subjectively or objectively. And like, wow, that's really interesting. But that's great. And I now can bring that into my coaching if I ever need to. Somebody, if you're out there and you got bladder pain, like look at your carbonation intake. Kind of funny.
Well, but I think that leads kind of right into the last one that I have too, is that
please.
listening to your body. This is not the last one yet, but listening to your body is a new skill. So just like you said too, I think listening to or figuring out the problem, not just the causes, it's a new skill. So the last thing that I would say is drop the judgment. Like give yourself some grace. That is part of mindful eating as well. One, just because we are new at this, so we're practicing these skills, and also judgment doesn't help with mindful eating as well. So if you're going to be judging yourself as you're eating, then you're flipping yourself away from that parasympathetic nervous system anyway. So that let's just drop the judgment. We're just practicing new skills, and we don't have to get it right all the time, and we don't have to get it right away.
I love that you said that. I think that as adults, we don't want to be wrong, right? As adults, we move from being a child where with a child, you're just curious, right? How does a child learn how to walk? Do we ever go up to a child after he gets up and falls, maybe 1 or 2 times, and we go, hey, better to stay down. My kid just doesn't seem like
not good at this.
my kid just doesn't seem like a walker. I don't think that's going to happen. You gave it a good shot though. Like, we would never do that. Like, it's like, no, my kid's going to keep trying until he learns how to walk. Magic formula. So I think if we can, because a child doesn't fall down and sit there and feel guilty and judge himself or herself.
No.
It just goes, what happened? I'm down. I don't want to be down. I want to be over there and be up. So let me do it again. So I think that getting this childlike, as funny as it sounds, like getting in touch with your inner child, all this stuff, but like there is some truth to that. We can learn a lot from where we've come from, and just getting back to some of that can be really beneficial.
Well, it's like that, if you don't want to call it childlike too, even that beginner mindset. So how can we have a beginner mindset? And sometimes it's really hard to have a beginner mindset about eating because it's something we've done
doing
forever,
it for so long.
We've done it for so long. But how do we actually then take a deep breath, give ourselves that grace, and be like, okay, I am going to adopt a beginner mindset about eating, and it's okay, right? And you don't have to be perfect ever, but you'll get better as you practice. It's just a skill like anything else.
Definitely. I love it. I don't know if Kylie heard me, but good morning, Kylie. Good to have you here. If you guys are here and you have a question, or if this resonates with you, let us know in the comments. You can like it or comment and send it to more people. Kylie says, Grace, thank you, Coach Rachel. Always need to be reminded of that. And I believe this is also Kylie that says, no matter how long we have been doing this, every day is a new day of learning, 100%. And I think this is the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, right? I think it's Carol Dweck that talks about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. It's so empowering to adopt a belief that you can be and do and have anything that you want to have within the realm of physics, right? But I think that when we incur enough setbacks and failures, it's hard to step out of the cage again and try. Kind of like the lion that, is so, if you've ever seen like the Ripley's Circus, where they have the two guys, right? They have the lion in the cage and they have this stool and it paralyzes the lion, right? Indirectly, because the lion can't focus on more than one point at the same time. It sees the 4 points and it becomes paralyzed. But here you have this absolutely capable beast of ripping apart this person, I'll say,
not to get graphic on a Friday morning,
right? But this challenge, and the comparison is like, we are the lion, right? We are capable of tearing apart any challenge that we have, but it's so easy when we've had all these setbacks to not want to take that step out of the cage. The other example of this is like the elephant at the circus, where when the elephant's a small baby, beginner's mindset, they wrap the ankle of the elephant with a rope to the stake of the tent. And it's a baby and it can't go very far, very hard. So it tries and tries and tries and tries and tries until eventually it makes up in its mind after weeks that I can't do this. Because look at the evidence. I've tried and I failed dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And once we make that up in our mind that that's how it is, we'll never try again. And then the elephant becomes an adult elephant, totally capable of ripping down the entire tent, but never does. Why?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't believe it can. And a lot of the women in this group right now are about to hit 10,000 RNs in this group. It pains me. And this is why we make these videos, to tell you what you already know, that you can do it. But don't be insane though. Yeah. Don't do the same thing and expect a different result.
Right.
Go ahead.
But once you do, so that's the thing too. And I was thinking, I read something and I can't remember if it was, I honestly think it was like an ant or a spider or something, but they actually, so not even the physical things that you're talking about, but some researchers, they just drew a circle, and whatever, it was a bug, whatever bug this was, wouldn't go across the line. Yes. So it would say, and they would draw smaller and smaller and smaller circles. And finally, it was like, it had to, because it didn't fit. And once it crossed the line, it was like, oh, I am never going back in there again. So so then they would draw the bigger circles, and they would be like, it doesn't even matter, because once you break free, once you try it once you do that, have a breakthrough, then you're like, oh my goodness, I, just like you said, I can. And everybody listening can. We all can. We just have to figure out what that breakthrough is. And sometimes for me, it's like happened where I don't even know what the actual point was, but like through meditation or through mindful eating or through just some deep breathing or something, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I can do X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah, it's interesting too. I know that like even our program is called like, the RN Body Breakthrough, right?
Yeah.
12-month RN Body Breakthrough or whatever it is. And sometimes there's that thought that, okay, I'm going to have a breakthrough once and I'll never go back and I'm done. And the truth is, you have many breakthroughs in different areas. So like you might have like somebody that watches this that maybe I never even get the opportunity to meet, that never does our program because, they have this belief breakthrough and they do it on their own, which is awesome. I'm thrilled for them. If they do that, they have that breakthrough. Well, now they've had the initial breakthrough. Well, now they need to have breakthroughs in other areas, whether it be nutrition, sleep, exercise, and you can have more than one. I'm here to tell you that you can have multiple breakthroughs.
Yes.
And that's a great thing. And it really leads to something really powerful, I think, because that's how identity shifts. When you have breakthrough over breakthrough over breakthrough, you collect new evidence. And then before you know it, 12 months from now, you look back and you don't even recognize who you were before. Like, don't get me wrong, you're still you, but the things that you would have done in the past support that old identity, and this new identity is, here to stay. So that's what having a breakthrough is. It's stacking breakthroughs until eventually 12 months from now, you look back and I don't want to say don't recognize it, but it's a powerful
No, but you
thing.
just are a different person. Like you just you take those baby steps, like somebody just said, you take those small baby steps, you stack those habits, you do those things. And then you are a different person that
Nice.
is a person that you chose and you practice, but you had to practice the skills. I think it's the both. You have to be in the moment and be present
Yes.
and be able to pull yourself back, which sometimes it helps if somebody else helps you do that, because sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard to be in the minutia and see the big picture. But
Yes.
when you're able to kind of navigate between those two things, then you can practice the skills of mindful eating or exercise, but then be able to see, oh my goodness, I brought my workout stuff on a cruise and I worked out on vacation. I never would have
Yeah.
done that before. You know, somebody
Yeah.
said that to me the other day. They're like, I actually packed my workout stuff. I'm like, of course you did. Because that's
Yeah.
just what you do
That's
now.
what we do.
That's just
Yeah.
who you are.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah,
Did we say number 5 yet?
we did. That was drop the judgment. So
Oh, okay. Drop the judgment.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was
My
ditch
bad.
distractions, eat slowly, enlist your senses, pay attention to how you're feeling, and then drop the judgment or give yourself grace, whatever you want to, however you want to call that.
Yeah, definitely. A beginner's mindset. I think that's a great takeaway. And you know, that's something that takes time to develop sometimes, you know, but it's a choice. You know, you can, you know, as far as like developing a new belief, a belief that will serve you is the belief that no matter who you are, where you are, no matter where you are and who you are, you can change. And like, no matter what's happened in the past, your biography is not your destiny. You can
Yeah,
change who
and
you
you
are.
get
You can
to.
change where you are.
Yeah, you get to. And, you know, as I share with lots of my clients and too, you know, sometimes we have to put it right in our face. We have to write it on a sticky note and put it on the bathroom mirror, on our
Yeah,
pantry
you
door
need
or
to be
something,
reminded.
because we have to be reminded to take those to practice. It's like you said, you have to practice the steps all the time. And
Yeah,
you'll get there. You'll get there, you know,
yeah.
which is
It's
exciting.
totally exciting. I think the last part to that is just you can change who you are, you can change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. So like it doesn't happen just because you want it to happen. And it doesn't happen because you listen to this and you get a little inspired and then take no action. It only happens by consistently changing your input, by getting around people kind of like this that are telling you empowering thoughts. Hey, you can do this. And here's the evidence for why, right? Seeing success stories of other RNs that some we've helped, some have just been in the group and gathering information that haven't used coaching, and that's cool too. But you can gather success stories for like, wow, hey, look, this person was, you know, even older than me, and they, you know, worked more hours than me, and they have more kids than me, and holy shit, they did it, you know. And it's evidence to support the belief that maybe it isn't my hormones. Maybe my doctor was wrong. I had an RN talk to me recently and say, oh, well, my doctor said, like, diagnosed me with, I don't exactly remember, a genetic disorder that means I'll always be overweight. And one, that might be 100% true, or it might not be, but let's say it's 100% true. Is that an empowering belief? No, it's not. Now, don't get me wrong. Can you like take that information and then do something with it? Sure. But to be able to say, well, this is how it is, this is my life sentence, and I'm just not going to do anything then, because what's the point? That's not empowering.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we have to be able to take in, even by professionals, what's told to us. Like, you know, if we had cancer and somebody looked at us and said, hey, you got 2 weeks to live, why can some people go beyond the 2 weeks and some people, you know, or 2 months, and some people it always hits them and it's the truth. And a lot of it comes down to the choice that they make when they're given that diagnosis. It's, is this the end? Should I give up? Or is this about to be the biggest fight of my life that, you know, my family will talk about for generations, you know, and you can connect something empowering to it. Same stimulus, 2 different actions and results that come from it. So
Yeah.
whatever happens to you, it's the old cliche. Yeah, this is the cliche show today. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. The difference between the people that are able to break through for good, and I'm talking about the Carlas, I'm talking about the Kims, I'm talking about the future Kylies. Kylie's already crushing
for sure.
doing amazing.
Yeah.
Kylie for sure. Let's go. You know, the Haleys. These are people that, you know, have been able to. Oh shoot, what was the final thought? Oh man, I totally just lost my train.
The 10% and the 90%.
Oh yeah. These are people that, you know, consistently have the similar things happen to the same people that fall off and never get back on, but they know how to adapt now. And it's not even knowing. Knowing's half the battle. It's really about developing the skill, like Coach Rachel said, to be
And
able, the habit to be able to take in unfavorable things like, you know, you got in a fight with your husband, or you're stressed about this, your kid failed on a test, whatever it is, you have to work more hours, and being able to navigate those things. Those are skills to develop. So
the skill, because you know life is going to happen. I would say, like, life gets lifey, and life does get lifey, but it means that, okay, you got off track maybe for a couple of days, but you come right back on. And when you get off track, you don't go all the way the other direction. You just, okay. And then you get back to those habits. Like, you would never stop brushing your teeth. You just wouldn't, because that's a habit that you are doing.
Hopefully.
Hopefully you never stop brushing your teeth, but hopefully then you get back to, okay, I know that it feels better if I put like nourishing food in my body. I know it feels better if at least I get out for a walk. I can't get to the gym for a couple of weeks because there's a fire at the gym. Okay, I can go out for a walk. I can still move my body, right? You don't get all the way off track, but you also can live in, Kylie and I talk about this sometimes, but sometimes you live in this like gray area, which is fine. It doesn't need to be 100% or 0%.
Yes.
Right? It needs to be.
It's a sliding scale.
But
it's a sliding scale. It's never are you on or are you off the wagon. Correct. It's how much are you on or off of the wagon. Yeah. You could be 70% on the wagon. Guess what? 70% is a lot better than 10 or 0.
Correct.
And guess what though? 10 is still better than 0. So like, if you are like, well, I can only do like this much, that's barely anything, do it. Because it's not about like on or off or feeling good because you're 100%. And if you're off, or if you're only doing 20%, you feel like garbage. Like, if you want to win this game, it's starting and never stopping again, no matter how fast you're moving. This is the old story of the tortoise and the hare, and they had something to teach us. And it's that the hare goes really fast and then stalls and regresses. And then the tortoise, slow and steady, gets there and wins. You know, unfortunately, like I think the numbers are they change depending on who you look at for information, but 92 to 97% of women that lose weight gain it back. That is so troubling. And that is what we were trying to solve, starting with RNs. As you know, we found that they're a great group of people that I'll say need our help the most, or at least
like a little TLC, because they've been giving it to everybody else.
Right, pouring from an empty cup. Right. Mm-hmm. Let me know if this resonates with you guys. Is this helpful at all? Let me know in the comments. You can like this, send it. It shows it to more people just automatically. Gloria says, "Good morning, hello, good to see you." But like, if there's any message that you can get from any of this, again, past like the tactical stuff that we talked about in the beginning, it's that no matter who you are and where you are, how many times you failed, how much you believe that like right now that you can't do it, you can. And I'm not just telling you that to blow smoke and be like, oh yeah, you can do anything you set your mind to. Like, no, I've seen it. Like, I've been a transformation coach, and Rachel can probably talk to this as well, but I've been a coach for 16 years. I've seen thousands of people. I have over 1,000, I should say, of unique situations. And a lot of these women thinking the same thing in the beginning, which is, it won't work for me. My body is different. I'm here to tell you, slap you in the face, whew, snap out of it. No, it's not. You can do it. I promise you. I've yet to ever, now don't get me wrong, there are things that slow some people down more than others. And there are some real things. Like, if you have Crohn's disease, like, that's a real thing that will probably slow down your results. However, is it the defining factor? No, you can break through. So just know that you can do it, whether you choose to work with us or not. I just want you to break through. And hopefully you can feel that from these podcasts. Like, yes, it helps like the business grow and all that stuff, but like, it's about the mission. And we're trying to help 100,000 RNs transform their body and actually sustain it forever. So if that's you, you're in the right place. Whether you're a coaching client or not, we want to see you succeed. So ask questions, whether you're on the live or you're on the recording, ask questions in this group. If you have a coach, obviously ask questions of your coach. And, just get in the environment, because I can promise you that you become what you're around. If you are around people that are trying to become better, that are trying to grow, it will rub off on you. And from that, you can have everything in life you want. I promise. So a lot of fun stuff. My pleasure. Hopefully this has been beneficial. Patricia, my pleasure. Great to have you here. It's good to see your face as always. That's it.
All right. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Bye, guys.
See you next week. Bye.